And having attended annual meetings several times, I knew that I would have to give a speech here tonight. So from April to October, I went over and over about what I wanted to share here tonight with y'all. I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to say. Then I was given the opportunity to go back to New Mexico to visit one of our current Advocacy Corps organizers. And on my drive from Albuquerque to Powake, the small town where I grew up from, as I watched the sunset over the beautiful Jemez Mountains, I began to remember one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain that says the following: "The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why." And I began to figure out why back in 2016 when I attended Spring Lobby Weekend for the first time. I was a freshman in college, and I had heard about this opportunity to come to Washington, D.C. for 4 days to learn about lobbying and mass incarceration. At the time, I didn't know much about grassroots lobbying or the criminal justice system in this country. But I was excited to learn more and visit DC for the first time. I didn't know what to expect. At the time, I was thinking about majoring in computer science and theology. I know, a strange combination. I came with a group of 25 other students from my college to Spring Lobby Weekend. The leader of our group was a member of the first Advocacy Corps class. And as the conference started, I came to realize that the criminal justice system operates in a racial discriminatory fashion, as Michelle Alexander says in her book, The New Jim Crow. At Spring Lobby Weekend, we learned that the US has 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. The United States prison and jail population has increased over 500% over the past 30 years. Stats that I'm sure many of you in this room have heard before, especially if you were here for annual meeting 2016. I found these numbers disturbing. I was raised in a predominantly Hispanic and immigrant community in New Mexico. And I thought about how these statistics applied to my own community. 46% of the state population in New Mexico is Latino. However, 52% of the prison and jail population in the state is Latino. At the current levels of incarceration, a Hispanic male like me has a 1 in 6 chance of going to prison during his lifetime, while a white male has a 1 in 23 chance of serving time. Before Spring Lobby Weekend 2016, I had never seen my community through these new lenses that I was learning about. Growing up, seeing people arrested, I thought was normal. Becoming aware of this issue, I started to realize that this was disproportionately affecting my family, my friends, and other communities of color all over the country. And after Spring Lobby Weekend, I learned that I could use my voice and that I could advocate for my community. I also learned that I could put my faith into action because I firmly believe that there is that of God in every person, including members of Congress and their staff. And I was determined to join the next Advocacy Corps class, where I worked on an issue close to my heart, immigration. After participating in the Advocacy Corps, I continued my relationship with FCNL by leading delegations of other young adults to Spring Lobby Weekend, doing the summer internship in 2018, and attending this gathering multiple times. Because of my involvement with FCNL, I've become hopeful of the future of faith-based activism. And after completing the summer internship back in 2018, I went back for my last year of college, and I decided to create my own major, political theology, learning how theological concepts relate to politics. When I reflect back on Spring Lobby Week in 2016, I feel like that weekend I discovered that my calling on this earth is to be an advocate for a world where equity and justice exist for all. And I think FCNL's Young Adult program is a unique program in this country, empowering young adults, just like in the Advocacy Corps, as we've heard from my fellow young fellows, and many others, with the skills related to activism and organizing they need to be lifelong advocates. I am grateful now to be working in the program and traveling and training and recruiting other young adults to join the movement, because I know that together we can create the world we seek. I want to thank a special thank you to Katie Breslin, Jim Kaysen, and Larissa Gill for their mentorship. And I also want to thank each and one of you for supporting the Young Adult program. Thank you.